Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing. In our top story, with many residents in the territory dependent on Medicare and Medicaid, the recent announcement by the U.S. Center for Medicare and Medicaid Service about the Wanaflui Hospital threatens to decertify the St. Croix Hospital for failing to meet standards relating to the physical plant and environment of care. Richard Dorsey files this report.
With the initial notice of termination for Wanaflui Hospital issued, the governor, in a letter submitted to Senate President Neville James yesterday, November 30th, has again requested that the legislature act on his capital projects plan and increase the line item for hospital repairs from $10 million to an amount not to exceed $20 million, as stated in the letter. The letter continues to say this request comes on the heels of an initial notice of termination that was received from the Center for Medicare and Medicaid as a result of a recent site visit to Wanaflui Hospital. The visit that the governor references by CMS concluded that the facility was not in substantial compliance with the conditions of participation for the hospital pursuant to 42 CFR Title 42, Part 482. As a result, therefore, CMS advised Wanaflui Hospital that it would terminate Medicare agreement on February 27, 2017, and no payments will be made for services furnished to Medicare and Medicaid patients who are admitted after that date. The 12-page report also states that the hospital failed to ensure that the hospital-wide quality assessment and performance improvement efforts addressed facility maintenance and building improvements, which directly impacted patient care. The report also continues to state that the hospital failed to ensure that the environment of care was evaluated related to improvements made to the hospital's air conditioning system. The hospital failed to ensure that its overall institutional plan provided for capital expenditures for at least a 3-year period. The governor says, "I know there's no need for me to explain the catastrophic result of any of our hospitals losing their certification by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services." In addition to the governor's comments, the Wanaflui Hospital and Medical Center released a press release stating that the focus of the recent survey conducted by CMS was related to heating, ventilation, and air conditioning HVAC system, and the findings stem from challenges with the HVAC system, including the air handlers and ductwork, and states there is no immediate risk of the CMS termination. Richard Dorsey, News 2.
Based on statements by Government House, the 31st legislature of the VI will have to make some critical choices in the upcoming week. Turn our attention to the court. District Court Judge Curtis Gomez sentenced Bert Donadell Jr., 26, of Georgia, to 3 months imprisonment and 3 years of supervised release. On June 15, 2016, Donadell pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute. According to the plea agreement filed with the court on April 3, 2016, at the Cyril E. King Airport, the U.S. CBP K-9 detected narcotics in a checked bag belonging to Donadell, who had arrived on a Delta Airlines flight from Atlanta. Officers examined the contents of the bag, resealed it, and placed it on the carousel. Donadell retrieved it. CBP officers seized and field tested a total of approximately 8.5 kilograms or more of marijuana. Tashawn Nisbet, 22, of St. Thomas, pleaded guilty on November 30, 2016, in federal court to possession of a firearm by an unlawful drug user. Sentencing is scheduled for April 6, 2017. According to the plea agreement filed with the court on August 4, 2016, special agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, they recovered a Glock pistol from Nisbet, who was a daily user of marijuana and had been such an unlawful drug user for the past 5 years. The case was investigated by the ATF and is being prosecuted by Assistant U.S. Attorney Meredith Edwards. District Court Judge Gomez also sentenced Anthony Williams Sr., 48, to 30 months imprisonment and 3 years of supervised release for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. On June 23, 2016, Williams pled guilty to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. According to the plea agreement filed with the court on September 16, 2015, Williams was found in possession of a 9mm caliber Taurus pistol while he was on the UVI St. Thomas campus grounds. Williams was previously convicted in the Middle District of North Carolina for conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute marijuana, possession of a firearm during a drug trafficking offense, and possession of a stolen firearm. Well, the MS Koningsdam sailed into St. Thomas on Thursday. Captain Darren William Boland and the officers, they welcomed the VI team during a reception commemorating her inaugural call. MS Collinsdam is a Dutch cruise ship operated by Holland America Line. Her maiden voyage was on April 8, 2016. The capacity is close to 3,000 passengers. Now on board for the welcoming ceremony was the Assistant Commissioner of Tourism, Joyce Dorr-Griffin, accompanied by Angela Payne, Elizabeth Newton, Lieutenant Commander of the U.S. Coast Guard, Carrie Harrigan, President of Best Taxi, Anthony Otley, Director of Property Management at WICO, and Sandy Adams Comstock, Port Agent at Virgin Port Services. The team was greeted by the captain, received a bottle of Crucian rum and lots of tourism trinkets, and then the team toured the ship. The top two members of the upcoming administration paid a visit to the carrier plant in Indianapolis. President-elect Donald Trump and Vice President-elect Mike Pence toured the facility that is now pledging to keep about 1,000 of its employees. The company had made plans to move to Mexico. Officials say financial incentives, reportedly as much as $7 million, played a factor in the decision to stay put. The announcement, which Team Trump is celebrating, is being blasted by some members of both the left and right. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, we can see the Dow up 68, NASDAQ and S&P down, NASDAQ 72, S&P 500 down 7. Coming up on News 2, our VI Recycle segment. As Recycling Awareness Month comes to an end, we'll have some highlights from a summit that's taking place in Puerto Rico for 2 days. But be sure to tune in tomorrow. We'll have more on a business that's making headway when it comes to recycling in the Virgin Islands. That's coming up. The Caribbean Recycling Summit is underway in Puerto Rico. The 2-day event started today, Thursday, and it continues on Friday. The main topic, bringing zero waste strategies to the Caribbean Basin. It's sponsored by the Puerto Rico Recycling Partnership and the U.S. Virgin Islands Recycling Partnership with the support of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the Puerto Rico Solid Waste Management Authority. It addresses solid waste management issues in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. It aims to promote zero waste initiatives and engaging Caribbean communities in closing the loop. It continues on Friday. Well, the Department of Health continues with the HIV awareness, the candlelight vigil and reception. The event on St. Croix began at 5:30 with a march from the Basin Triangle parking lot to Fort Christian, and then on St. Thomas, the event started at 6. It goes on until 7, and the candlelight vigil program, symbolic balloon release, and reception at the Emancipation Garden that all took place. We'll have highlights from that tomorrow. Here is more from Department of Health.
AIDS Day is December 1st, 2016, which is tomorrow, and so we want all the public to come out and join us. There will be events, as I said, on both islands, and for St. Croix, there will be a walk that will begin at 5:30 p.m. It will be leaving the basin near Basin Triangle, which is near the police department, and make its way down to Fort Christian. At 6 p.m., there will be a celebration and awareness of World AIDS Day at the gazebo.
And again, be sure to tune in. We'll have the highlights on Friday's newscast. Get fit, bring your bicycles, scooters, or rollerblader. November is American Diabetes Month. The Virgin Islands Department of Health, meanwhile, and its community partners will be hosting the 3rd annual Wheel Out. And the purpose of this event is to promote physical activity and healthy eating while educating the community on prevention measures and diabetes management. Here's more.
So this month is Diabetes Month, and we're trying to raise awareness in our community. We want to keep everyone healthy, free from diabetes, and we know it's very common, it's very prevalent in our territories. So the event is entitled Wheel Out, and it's geared towards kids. We want to raise awareness of diabetes while increasing and encouraging physical activity.
The idea and the concept for Wheel Out was something that I birthed. I met with the territorial director about 3 years ago, And I said to her, why don't we come up with a concept that will encourage persons to promote themselves in more physical activity. And one of the things that I wanted to do was not to kind of focus on the age group that already had the diabetes, that 35 and over age group. I wanted to focus on the younger generation, whereby we could change the dichotomy in the way how people live in the Virgin Islands, the way how we eat, and the only way to do that is by changing the mentality of the youths. And so the idea was create an idea, create a concept, and then create an event that would encourage the youths to come out and have fun. If you're going to do anything that is indicative with youths, you have to make sure that it is fun. If it's not fun, they're not going to come the second and the third year. So this is our third year of doing Wheel Out, not Wheel Out.
Be sure to check that out. Now, 'tis the season. Here's some Christmas events if you like that Christmas music. Schools in the St. Thomas St. John district, they're ringing in the holiday season with exciting concerts in December. Virgin Islands Department of Education invites the public to attend and support music programs at the territory's public schools. Charlotte Molly High School, they're presenting the Tales of the Season, the Christmas concert. That's scheduled for December 4th at the Ruthie Thomas Auditorium at 5:30 p.m. And then we have Adelita Cancrine Junior High School. They're getting ready, getting prepared for the Christmas on the Rise concert. That's on December 8th in the auditorium at 6 p.m. Bertha C. Bishelta Middle School, they're inviting you to their annual Christmas concert. That one is scheduled for December 10th in the auditorium. That begins at 5 p.m. Trading warm weather and sun for snow and ice is what sailors in the 8th annual Carlos Aguila Match Race, they presented by the USVI Department of Tourism, loved about racing in St. Thomas's Charlotte Molly Harbor today. This year, the Aguila Race plays host to the finale of the Women's International Match Race Series. This means 12 of the world's top-ranked women skippers, they are taking part in this 4-day event. Linnea Flauser, one of the regatta skippers from Sweden, remarked that last week she and her team were chipping ice out of their boats in practice. Fellow countryman Anna Osling is currently in the lead today after 12 flights of racing. Sailing continues tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, starting at 9 a.m. and finishing at 3 p.m. On Saturday, young students from the Marine Vocational Program, they will crew for these top-ranked skippers in the Carlos Aguila Youth Regatta, starting at 11:30 a.m. Public is invited to come out and watch the racing. There's covered bleacher seating and continuous live commentary. Well, be sure to stick around. News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Well, across the U.S. Virgin Islands, we're still paying close attention to an area of low pressure that's developed and begun to push west across the islands. That's what's brought us some of these scattered showers throughout today, and that is only going to continue. We take a look at the radar. We have some easterly winds, and we're on the backside of that area of low pressure, so we'll keep that up as well. Second thing that's going to be causing some of our weather, going to be a cold front shifting off to the south towards the latter end of the weekend. But until we get there, tonight we're seeing a higher chance of some showers sticking around, and 77 degrees for our low this evening. We head into the end of our weekend. We'll have some more peaks of sunshine in there for our Friday, 85 degrees, as well as clouds. Now, we can't rule out those chances of showers. We'll still continue to get some of that from that area of low pressure through your Friday and into your Saturday morning as well, from St. Thomas down into St. Croix. But the sun will not be completely amiss. We head out onto the Atlantic side. We do have a small craft using caution out there. We have these winds out of the east, 10 knots, waves 3 to 5 feet. As we head throughout the evening, this is slowly going to calm down, so that small craft using caution should end up going way towards out the later evening hours. Now, on the Caribbean side, pretty calm out there, waves 2 to 4 feet. Those winds out of the east, 10 knots as well. And here's a look at your extended outlook moving forward. We'll keep some of those spottier showers in throughout the weekend as well, becoming more infrequent come Sunday. And then Monday, we're really going, or Sunday into Monday night, we're really going to begin to see maybe just a couple of more showers throughout the evening hours and into Monday as well as Tuesday, with a cold front that's going to begin to sit just north of Puerto Rico. So Monday and Tuesday, we'll be seeing a shower in spots as well as that humidity really beginning to rise. That's all I have for you. Back to you, Sandy.
Thanks for that. Let's take a look at our NEWS2 weather picture by Maurice Simmons of the Ricardo Richards Elementary School, and that's on St. Croix. But as you know, Maurice, that's exactly what it looks like over here for the Carlos Aguilar races going on the waterfront. Smooth sailing. Nice picture there. Thank you for that. Send us your NEWS2 weather picture to the address on the screen. NEWS2 Innovative Business Center, 4611 Tutu Park Street 300. St. Thomas VI 00802. Stick around, we have NEWS2 Sports coming up next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is NEWS2 Sports. Founded in 2011, the Wounded Warriors amputee softball team travels the country, playing able-bodied softball teams in competitive and exhibition games. They bring their own special brand of courage and enthusiasm to softball, and this weekend, they are here on St. Croix.
They arrived at Henry Rolston Airport to loud cheers. Members of the Wounded Warriors amputee softball team here to play 2 exhibition games on Friday at DC Cannegator Ballpark. According to St. Croix native and team member Ben Mitchell, this is a wonderful opportunity.
And I said, you know what, it'll be great to take these Warriors down to the U.S. Virgin Islands, show them a little bit of my culture, introduce them to my people, and show them how beautiful the islands are. So here we are, and we're just asking everybody to come out this weekend. It's Friday at 5 o'clock at the DC Cannegator Ballpark. We're going to have 2 exhibition games and a home run derby, and we would love for you all to come out and see the spectacle and see these amazing athletes and Warriors do their thing.
We consider ourselves a national team. We'll go anywhere. We just kind of have to chase the weather around the country. And then we get to come to some beautiful places like this every once in a while. So we've been to Hawaii. Now we get to come to the Virgin Islands. This is my first time here, and from what I can see, it's absolutely beautiful.
For the team and their families, it's more than a game.
So I retired from the Army in 2010. I went out and worked in corporate America, but I realized I was missing something. I was missing the camaraderie that I used to have in the Army, the sense of purpose, doing something bigger than myself. And I was lucky enough to reach out to a friend of mine who was involved with this team, and I got the position of executive director 2 years ago.
The best part about this team is just actually giving back. It's a very rewarding feeling. You know, we do a kids camp every year, and you know, so I get 20 new amputee kids friends basically every year, and you know, it's great doing that.
And my duty here this weekend will be to show the wives, the spouses, a great time of my island, and I'm honored to be a spouse of a military wounded soldier, and to show the ladies a great time to relax, enjoy themselves, and tell them thank you for supporting their husbands.
It's been the greatest thing ever as far as his rehab and for us, and he's just doing great, and the whole organization has been really, really good to us.
It all adds up to a special day on Friday.
So hopefully that we have a great turnout, come out and show our appreciation for these wounded warriors and all they've done for our country. And there'll be opening ceremonies at 5, and the first game scheduled to kick off at 5:30. That'll be more or less the competitive game between the Wounded Warriors and the first responder team, National Guard, police, fire. And then a home run derby in between games, and then we'll wrap it up with a celebrity game that evening. So I want everyone to come out, show your support. It should be a good game. Bring out your kids, bring out the whole family, and these guys should be an inspiration for all of us.
And we come in to inspire and educate others, and to open up to the communities and show them that our motto is a life without a limb is limitless.
Admission is free, so bring out your family for a great late afternoon and evening of fantastic softball. That's it for sports. Sandy, back to you.
Job well done. They're doing a great job. We welcome them to the VI, and we know they've been making the rounds around St. Croix at the schools. We'll have more on that. Thanks for that, Gary. And that is all for this edition of News 2. Thank you for joining us for all the latest in news, weather, and sports. I'm Sandra Goman Singh. We'll see you next time.